Hey guys, so in this community and just with regards to the performance practitioner wellbeing kind of movement I've kicking off, a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what we as a group talk about is the impact of our profession and our job on our well-being and our wellness. But that's only part of it. We're people, and there are huge things that happen in our lives, some of which we can control, some of which we can't, that impact and knock our well-being and our wellness. And I just wanted to share a couple of stories from my background, my recent background about that. So it's not going to be work related. It's going to be about me and things I've kind of dealt with and gone through really. So 2018, in the shape of my life, I was working with the Romanian Special Forces. I was keeping up with the best and crushing the rest, doing all the sessions, and yeah, I was in pretty decent nick. And then about November, I started feeling some pain in my left ass cheek, and I carried on. I didn't stop. I just carried on running. I carried on foam rolling and everything, and then that transferred to my calf. And don't worry, I carried on stretching it and foam rolling. I think I did a 10k run, and then all sorts of different things. It was ridiculous. And we jumped forward from November to 23rd of December. The pain has become so bad. I'm struggling to walk that I end up. I go to Casualty in the UK, so I've taken 2 flights in this time as well. Yeah, smart guy. And I end up being admitted, and they tell me that they think I've got some occluded arteries in the left side and they need to go in and have a look. No idea what that go in and have a look means. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Well, I'm invincible, so that doesn't matter. You go and have a look at what you want, but you're not going to find anything because I'm invincible. And it turns out I had a totally occluded popliteal artery, which had, well, not totally, it had like a small trickle of flow going into the foot. So out of the 3, like two of the feeding arteries were blocked, and the other one was almost totally blocked. Luckily, that had created a collateral system to still feed the foot. And they also found a DVT on the left side, and they also found an occluded artery or partially occluded in my groin, which was too close and too intricate for them to be able to do anything about. So I still got that, and I still got the occluded arteries in the foot as well. Just the ones opened up a lot more, and the collateral system's built and better. So where the story gets a bit messed up is the first memory I have is of somebody, the nurse, like putting all her pressure down to stem the flow of bleeding from the incision on the right hand side. I wake up and I'm like looking, and I see this fountain of blood just exploding up, and I turn to her and I said, "Oh, that doesn't look all right." Kind of making a joke out of it. I think I start laughing, and then they put the mask back on, and I've passed back out again. And then when the surgeon eventually comes to see me, and I've sat there with my family, and he says, "Look, Josh, we were really lucky to save your leg. We nearly had to amputate your leg." And I said, "Okay, well, thanks very much for saving my leg, doc. Good work. When can I go back to work?" So I've been in hospital 4 or 5 days. It's around Christmas. I'm with my family. I've had this pretty significant surgery I wasn't expecting to have, and that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. And I look back now and I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. It's sad. It's really, really sad that I would think that I would say that. And then we fast forward a little bit, and they obviously have to do the test to figure out why all this happened. And it happened because I had a small hole in my heart, and not a lot of people know this. And this is another reason why I'm putting this out, because it's good to share. And also, you don't know everything about everyone else's story. And yeah, I had to have that sealed up. I had to have a hole in my heart sealed up. I had no idea I had a hole in my heart. And 1 in 4 people does. And this is PFO that all babies have, for them to be able to breathe inside the womb. Yeah, I had to have heart surgery at 34 years old. And I had no idea this was going to happen. It hit me like a slap in the face. But of course, how dare anybody knock me down when I'm in my prime? I'm fucking Iron Man. And because of that, I started to develop these real big anger problems. I was angry with everything, angry with the world. How dare this ever happen to me? Like, I'm fucking invincible. This is impossible. We fast forward, and I'm struggling to keep this under wraps, under control. Road rage is a particular problem. Out the car a couple of times, but never actually came to anything, luckily. Very ridiculous situations. I blow up really quickly, very short fuse. And my girlfriend fell pregnant, and we get all the way through to the end stage. And in the end stage, she developed preeclampsia about 6.5 weeks out, 6 or 7 weeks out, and about 6.5, 7 weeks out, she gets admitted to hospital in Romania. Not sure if anybody knows the healthcare system in that country, but it's not really superb. And she, her blood pressure shot through the roof, about 170 or 110, something like that. Anyway, she got admitted. Her feet swelled to this, huge size, and she started getting really puffy, which is one of the symptoms. She got all the way to that point with no symptoms at all. And essentially it restricts the blood flow to the child, and things were getting really, really delicate and really tense. And it went on for day after day after day, and I got very little information. They'd barely let me see her, maybe half an hour a day, if that. Communication was poor. The service that she got was absolutely horrendous. In fact, it was cruel. And she's a doctor, so she ended up medicating herself, and it was absolutely crazy. It was the most horrendous experience I've ever had in my life. And our child, our baby, Ollie, Oliver Titus Fletcher, was born by emergency C-section because the blood flow had stopped going to him, and it was really quite delicate, and essentially both of them could have died. And then the aftercare in the hospital, I got to see him. I got to see what probably felt and looked really like half a baby. After quite an extended period of time, and I got to see him for about half an hour a day, if that, sometimes less than that, because they used to move the visiting times, and the dads weren't allowed in, because it's still a place in the world where the dads aren't allowed to be part of the birth process. And then I had to watch her try and recover, and spend a little bit of time. She got to see him a limited amount. I got to see him a limited amount, maybe her 2 hours a day and me less than an hour a day. And I think she was in for maybe 2 to 3 weeks after. So that was the whole giving birth experience and bringing new life into the world experience for us. The level of care she had was cruel. It was horrendous. How horrible people are to each other, nurses and doctors to individuals, to patients, is horrific. And like I said, she's a doctor and she's tough, so she ended up really looking after herself, and almost medicating herself. She got given her medication for the week and said, "Here you go, doctor. You can sort this out." She's supposed to be a patient. For me, the impact that had on me and my well-being was, my anger problems went into overdrive. Like, how I had hatred for the country, not for the country, for the people within it. How is it possible to be so cruel to another human being, treat them like that, not communicate with the dad, allow these things to take place? They wouldn't do that to their own family. Why should they do it to anyone else's? It was horrendous. Definitely the worst experience I've had in my life. And it affected my relationship with her, affected my relationship with the boy. And it took so much time to push through that, and I never went to see anybody and get any support for that, like professional help, which absolutely I should have done. It's a horrendous thing to have happened, and why would I not? I wouldn't, because I'm a tough man. I can sort it out. Yeah, no worries. I don't need therapy. I can do it. Well, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's all right to ask for help, and sometimes it's all right. It's needed for that to be a professional, and it's needed for that to be. Somebody impartial. But I suppose my message here is really, it's not just work that can kick your well-being in the nuts. It's not. Sometimes like things happen in life which absolutely knock you down. And then the other thing that's really important is that sometimes you don't know what's going on in other people's lives. I'm sure there'll be people, if you've managed to get through, sorry, it's 10 minutes, but if you've managed to get through to the end of this, a lot of people won't know this. A lot of people won't know my story. I have no clue what's been going on in my life because I probably would hide it. And also, why, if you don't ask, you don't know. So I guess it's take the gloves, take the masks off, be open. And I'm encouraging people to share their stories in here now. Hopefully, this, it's my story. My story kind of sucks, but I've got a really healthy, happy 2-year-old boy. I've got a good, strong relationship. I'm living in France now, and I've got the anger problems under control. I don't really feel angry anymore. I'm getting a lot of love and great things from life. But it's a process. It took a lot of time to get to this stage. But here I am. I'm kind of through the other side of that. But I look back with these awful memories, and a lot of this I block out. But you can be kicked in the nuts by things that happen in life. But I guess it's how you respond and seek out and get the correct help, which I didn't do. And I'm hoping that this practitioner wellness movement is going to give you the little push maybe that you need to get the help that you need. Maybe it's from within this community, maybe it's not, maybe it's a professional, but help is out there. So just know that. And I hope that for these 12 minutes now, sorry, that if you've managed to stick around for these 12 minutes, you'll see that like it's not always easy and it's not always about work, but as a community we're here and there's enough ears and shoulders to lean on in this group. So yeah, just wanted to share that story with you, really, guys. Hope you all have an awesome day, and I'm sorry if I started your day with a bit of a sad note.